Welcome to the Real Estate Show, brought to you by the top 50 dealer Beaver Coach Sales with your hosts, Ryan Kelly
and Eric Shaver. If you're here to learn about all things RV, you're in the right place. In this podcast, we sit down with people who build, buy, and sell RVs to bring you an in-depth look at the RV lifestyle.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Real Estate Podcast Show. We're your host, Ryan Kelly.
And I'm Eric Shaver.
And today we're talking about a topic on everyone's mind. You can't go anywhere without hearing about it. It's the hottest thing that's happened in 2020.
The
Coronavirus.
Yep.
So right now we're sitting here. Let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Let me get my tape measure.
I think we're about 7 or 8 feet apart. My math is correct.
That's about 7 right there.
Perfect.
7 feet apart doing this show. It's crazy times right now, but we're going to talk a little bit about what the industry's done as a respond to COVID-19, what our business has done. We're going to talk about a lot of things here in this show related to the coronavirus.
Definitely.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Eric, let's start off with the industry as a whole. What has, in your conversations with your customers, just you keeping your pulse on everything, what has your observation of the industry's reaction been?
It's been pretty interesting because when we first started with all this in March, it seemed that it was a lot of doom and gloom at first. Obviously, everyone was a little scared of what was going to happen. All kinds of new sanctions were coming down from governors across the U.S. and ours included, and so it became pretty scary of how are we going to continue to do business. And the interesting thing was, in our industry, for whatever reason, it has flourished, and for a lot of reasons really, but it has absolutely flourished as opposed to a lot of the other industries that have failed. We've picked up a lot of the people that wanted to travel. So the market for travel has shifted from airlines, hotels, that sort of travel over to RV travel, which has been pretty fascinating to watch because we thought, initially we were pretty freaked out with what was going to happen, and we thought we're never going to sell a motorhome again. And sure enough, everyone wants to travel by motorhomes. Get your own space. It's your own clean space. You know who's been in it. It's yours. You have full control. So people really kind of latched onto that, especially after being locked up for so long. People wanted to get out and see the world again. So what better way to do it and than in your own contained little vehicle that you know everything about. So it was kind of a interesting change. Now with that, we had so much supply that the demand was a little bit unable to keep up. And so we've been talking a lot about this lately, is how is our industry going to keep up with the increase in increase in demand. And the supply chain across the world has been totally messed up with everything. And we've all seen it. Amazon Prime is no longer 2-day. They say 2-day and it's 5 days. And in our
the
world,
audacity.
How dare they? I pay $100 a year for this. I want 2-day shipping.
Well, you get movies too.
Yeah, you get movies too.
That helps.
But that helps. But no, it's been pretty weird. We have, like, one of our manufacturers, for instance, has 68 luxury units sitting on the line without an ability to get them shipped because they're waiting on air conditioners. And so when you think about it, they can put together, the bulk of the RV, but if they don't have a fridge, or if they don't have, one of our furniture manufacturers, Flex Steel, big manufacturer, did probably half of the industry's production of at least the luxury industries of furniture. When this all hit, just completely stopped. And
if you're from Flex Steel, come back.
Please come back. We need you. If you know anybody from Flex Steel, give them this podcast. So it was kind of interesting when when you watch the difference in supply chain. So now a manufacturer, they don't build. Integra doesn't build these couches that we're sitting on. They source that elsewhere. They don't build a Samsung refrigerator. So they have to go to the other product manufacturers to get it. Well, if that product manufacturer has a link in their supply chain that's messed up, it's going to affect everything downstream. So it's been really, really interesting on our end because we're selling more than we've ever sold. We're busier than we've ever been, and the hardest thing to do is get our hands on product. So it's been pretty wild. That's been a huge challenge, and it's been a fun challenge. I think we've been having a lot of fun. It's been the busiest summer we've ever had. We like that. So.
Yeah, so that's a great overview for like the last 4 or 5 months here, what it's looked like. I'll back it all the way back up to March again. That initial feel of holy smokes, it's kind of like when 9/11 hit, and there was a lot of uncertainty and what's going to happen and what are we going to do, and then about a month later, us as a store, I'll talk about how we reacted to it. We have a leadership meeting every week on Friday where we review the financials of the company and we go through each department and how everyone's doing. And what was weird is everything was kind of crazy outside, and we're looking at our numbers and it wasn't too far off. I mean, if you just looked at the business from a P&L standpoint, and you just looked at each department and what they were doing and the revenue and all that, it was just sales were still happening. I mean, it was slower than it was, in February or year to year, but it was still moving right along. And so that was part of why we didn't panic and discontinued everything that we had coming in on order, and we shut down the doors and laid off every employee. There's a lot of RV dealerships that did that.
Yeah, totally.
And because they had to. There's a lot of states that shut down, they weren't able to do business in. So feel very, very fortunate from that standpoint. But I think it's really important. You got to have your pulse on what's really going on out there from the standpoint of sales and commerce. People, I'm blown away by how much our internet leads have jumped up.
Oh man, it's crazy.
The flow of internet leads that we're getting 50, 60, 70 a week for us, and maybe a travel trailer location that does more volume in units gets way more than that.
Right.
But for us, that's a tremendous amount of volume for internet leads that are coming in, when it used to be something,
a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Yeah. So people are at home sitting there, and I'm guilty of it. I go home and I get on I can't believe how much stuff I bought on Amazon in the last few months.
Oh my gosh, you know how about those Instagram ads? When you're just sitting there for 10 minutes and all of a sudden, man.
I buy so many things on Facebook now.
Every time. Every single time.
The worst thing I ever did was take my card and connect it to my phone.
Yeah. It's one click. It's too easy.
You're like, $15. I got to get that.
Speaking of, we need to figure that out for the RV industry. One click.
It's a great idea.
$500,000, done.
Wait a minute, Eric, we'd be out of the job.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Let's back that up.
Let's
back that up. We'll rethink that. We'll keep the sales guys in business.
So with that, what I think is really, really crazy about the COVID buyers is I haven't seen this many first-time buyers before. Like most of the time, especially by the time they get to us, they've owned 5, 6, 7 RVs, and this is we didn't at the time have a lot of stepping stone coaches up to this price point in this class.
Yeah.
And there's been so many people just hopping right into it at a luxury diesel level, and it's just, I haven't seen this many first-time RVers before, which has been really fun, because with first-time RVers, you really get time to slow down and educate them on the whole product, the whole kind of industry. Here's the difference between corrugated aluminum and fiberglass sidewall with like our travel trailers that we picked up, and what's the difference between diesel and gas, and just spend time educating them as a whole. But yeah, first-time buyers have been unique, and I haven't seen this many cash buyers before, which is strange, because most people finance, especially when you get to this kind of price point, just because your investments are doing super well, and you put half down, and your investments are essentially making your payment on it. So it kind of makes sense, but people are just kind of uncertain about a lot of things, and they're paying cash for big ticket items like this.
Well, on an interesting note on that, when this first happened, what was kind of fascinating with the financing portion of it was rates were going down. And rates were historically going down to promote purchasing. So it was kind of an interesting thing to watch rates on certain when we talk about rates, you look at the Federal Reserve and what are the buying rates of large financial purchases and that sort of thing. And rates as a whole were going down. And as soon as this happened, the rates ticked up for RVs.
Yeah.
Because it was the fear mindset. Banks didn't want to loan $200,000 on what the bank looks at as a toy. Now, this might be somebody's home, but the bank looks at it from a different perspective. Now, that has come down, fortunately, and it's actually continuing to go down, which is awesome. But it was kind of interesting to see the bank's initial reaction of going, oh, pump the brakes, let's back up for a second. I remember the first couple months, people were going, man, rates must be crazy low. And we were like, well, actually, they're kind of a little nervous. And so it was, I think that maybe drove part of it, but it was fascinating to see that and see how it's now changed, and now it's starting to go down as the market explodes and the banks are seeing, oh, there's a great market for this. We're going to get our return on our investment. So Yeah, it's kind of an interesting
Look at
thing.
the housing. I mean, people are refinancing their houses for under 3%, and then they're wondering, well, how come my RV rates are going up on it? Well, it's the same banks. They got to make their money somehow,
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's part of it as well.
Totally.
Interesting.
I think one of the cool things about first-time buyers too, this is something I've seen a lot more of, is you have every industry has been affected by this globally, one way or another. And I've had a lot of customers come in that are younger, that are getting, like you mentioned, first-time buyers getting into the luxury RV lifestyle. I've had a lot more customers coming in younger that have families, and a big thing has been bunkhouse coaches and coaches with a lot of sleeping, because what they're doing is, as the entire world shifted to work from home mode and everyone's working from home, a lot of businesses are finding out they are just as effective, if not more effective, by keeping everybody working from home. So what are people doing? They're jumping in an RV, taking their kids on a road trip. School's online. Everything's online at this point. So many people are like,
productive.
Why not jump in a coach and go?
In an RV.
Yeah.
doing calls on the road.
Yeah, listen, use your Bluetooth if you're driving, okay?
What manufacturers need to build are RVs with an office in it.
Oh, I know.
Somehow,
I've been asked that
maybe
too.
like a little soundproof.
Yeah. You remember the Holiday Rambler that we just had in? We actually had one in that was I think it was an 07, and it had an office in the back.
Oh, cool.
It was the coolest thing ever. Anyway.
Bring it back. If you're from a manufacturer, build that. People need it. Yeah, that's been pretty interesting. And how we respond as a company as well. If you notice, I mean, like you said, every industry has been affected by this. You see how many restaurants are now doing pickup orders, or you order online and drive to the store, or how many delivery services have popped up. For us, which has been interesting, remember that 2.5 weeks when we were home, and you go, well, this really isn't going to work out. You can't really work from home and show a luxury RV and do a full feature benefit and go through the coach and sit down with customers and educate them on the product. So, what was interesting is us becoming essential. Remember that little in-between part where you go, they're only opening up essential businesses, everything's shut down. Are we going to be
essential?
Essential. And the more you think about it,
I feel essential.
Well, yeah, you are essential to this business.
Thank you.
Kidding me?
Appreciate
Absolutely essential. But because of the service side, we were able to stay open, and RV as a whole is an essential business. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, one of the funny things was I didn't work from home at all during the whole period. So most people in the front office did, because there's no customers coming in, and so we needed somebody here physically. So I stayed here, and
someone essential.
Somebody essential, obviously.
To really take that bullet for everyone else.
I had to do it. I had to do it for somebody. And it was funny because working from work at the time wasn't very effective, because nobody's walking in the door. So try to show in motorhomes. The problem is there's nobody there for that first month. It was first couple weeks anyway. We were kind of laughing about it, because it's like, looking back, we had maybe one person walk through the door at that time. And you're right. It's hard. How do you do that? How do you answer the phone calls and be there? But watching the business shift and take on that, a complete blind side from a business perspective. When you're working in business in a good economy, it's hard enough to foresee the future and be effective. But then all of a sudden, when something like this gets thrown in there, it was pretty tense for the first couple of weeks, when we're, like you said, we're trying to figure out whether we are or aren't essential. And a big thing that happened was that helped deem us essential is, if you think about it, a good portion, at least of luxury motorhomes, a good portion of people live in them full time, or at least 6 months out of the year. And so, for instance, we have a ton of Canadian clients, and what they do, they snowbird, so they'll travel down in December, January, or even earlier, some of them, and on their way down they get some service work done, and then on their way back up, when they're going back up for the summer, they get service work done. And one thing that was pretty fascinating was, in service, we thought, obviously we're essential because people have a water heater. If your water heater goes out in your house, what do you do?
Sure.
And so if your RV is your house, you have to go to somebody that knows how to work on an RV water heater. So that helped us stay essential and stay considered essential, which was amazing. But then on top of that, we had this massive influx when Canada gave all of their residents, I think it was a 10-day or 14-day period. They said, hey, we're closing the border, so you better get back here. And all of a sudden, we had this like mass exodus of people coming from Palm Springs and down in Indio and Quartzsite up through, trying to get all their last minute work done. And we had to get them. We had this. It was the weirdest thing. We had this like boom, 8-10 appointments a day, just slamming them in and out. It was crazy.
It got
Just,
real friendly around here.
Oh
Fast.
man, we
All the
had a lot of
Canadians up
poutine.
here.
We talked hockey. It was great. We were flying the Canadian flag for about a week. It was,
Come on up.
meet a bunch of
business.
Canadians. It was awesome. But no, it was wild. It was really interesting, and that's a good example of it, because those people need help. They need they're living in that thing. What are they going to do? If they just have to get to the border. Well, if something doesn't function, how do they do it? So that helped deem us essential, which was phenomenal. And in the same realm, for sales, I remember talking about this with one of our friends. Why is sales, considered? That's ridiculous. People don't need to buy these during the quarantine and all this. And,
You have terrible friends if they said that.
The worst. So, they were not friends anymore. So the interesting thing on that note is you have people that have saved their entire lives, that sold their house, that are on the hunt right now, living with their kid and in the spare room while they're finding their RV that they're going to live in for the next 10 years because they decided to go full time. Boom, this happens. So you had enough of those people that this was still a part of their journey and what they were trying to do, where you have to be able to accommodate them. And so you can't stop somebody from buying a home, and this is a home on wheels.
Very true.
So kind of weird. It was an interesting first month or so. It's very quiet.
Yeah.
I threw a lot of paper airplanes.
And you notice now when you go into like our store, what's different is we got little squares that are all spaced 6 feet apart. And so you have a good idea of, where you need to stand for not having a mask on. But as long as you're in the building, we got these cool
We got Beaver Coach masks.
Beaver Coach sales masks, shameless plug on our company. And even your own miniature size Beaver Coach sales hand sanitizer.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just being super careful here at the store. But let's talk about the things that haven't changed with coronavirus. So the things that haven't changed is you still have, at the time it was about 10,000 baby boomers retiring a day who want to go play and have some fun.
Yep.
I don't know if that number went up or down because we don't have a full year of analytics on that yet. But there's still people who are in their mid 60s who aren't getting younger, who are retiring and ready to go play and have some fun.
Yep.
So as a result of that, this has been, like you mentioned, a big part of their retirement goal. So it's not like, oh, okay, well, I guess now I'm retired. I'll just wait another 5 years till I'm in my 70s or 10 years till I'm in my late 70s or the 80s before I start doing this stuff. People still have the desire to do it.
Yeah.
Second thing that happened is if you've been in the stock market for the last 10 years, even if in the last 3 years, you've done really, really well with your finances. So there was a little dip there at the beginning. And you look at where's the Dow Jones now?
Oh, let me look
today as it sits.
Let's see.
Now this is really, essentially because this is pre-recorded, this is really going to tell people,
Today is October 8th, for the record.
Now
Let's
they know.
see. Oh, no.
We have to roll this out next week or they're going to think we're irrelevant.
28,384.
28,000. So we're still creeping up on 30,000 on the stock market. It's still, we're record highs with that. And what blows me away is in Bend, the Lindsay and I were just looking at it last night. The average medium household price in Bend is 500,000 right now,
which is crazy.
And sales are going through the roof like crazy. People are making offers on houses, and there's 3 or 4 backup offers by the end of the day. Today we're going to run out and go look at a house.
Yeah.
Lindsay and I with our realtor, and this is just to kind of get some ideas for a new development going in. You essentially have to buy in a new development in order to get a house in Central Oregon and anywhere right now because deals are going like crazy. So people are buying houses like crazy. The stock market's going nuts. A lot of people are retiring with some wherewithal. The economy is doing really well, and there's a lot of individuals, especially around retirement age, who have done well financially and now ready to go play and have some fun. So
right, and this isn't going to affect that. Yeah,
no.
If you're going to do that, you're still going to do that.
Yes. Yeah. Now even more reason to go do it because
exactly.
You don't want your nasty kids coming home from college, German up the place.
That's right. You got your little quarantine mobile.
Yeah.
On wheels. Yeah.
So anyway, those are some things that haven't changed. And a big thing that hasn't changed with us as a store is we're going to still provide quality service. We're still going to, meet with you face to face is how we believe in doing business. It's just we're going to have a mask on and our hands are going to smell very hand sanitizer-y. So don't be insulted if we're like a greeter at church where we shake your hand. It's so nice to meet you. God bless you. Welcome to our store. You just come here. You're not judged. You're not judged by anyone. We love that you're here.
I haven't shaken a hand in months.
I've been doing the
Fist bump?
The fist bump's been popular, but the elbow.
Elbow, that's a fun one.
That's the new one.
Yeah.
That's the good one.
It's been really, really interesting. It's weird in a people business to not shake somebody's hand.
I was enthusiastically waving for, but that just didn't feel right.
Oh, that doesn't look right either. That helps. So
anyway, we're still doing business, face to face, and we're just making it work. But here's
adapted.
Probably, Eric, my biggest pet peeve. If you've tried to buy anything or do business with local places, not just in Central Oregon, but I know a lot of people are feeling this, and you call up, how often do you get that automatic response that says, "Hello, due to COVID-19, we're experiencing unnecessary delays. Please, we'll have someone call you back in 72 hours." Mm-hmm. What is frustrating for me is in a customer service industry like we're a part of, and really all businesses are in the customer service industry. You just happen to sell this or provide this service. So many people use COVID-19 as an excuse to deliver low or poor customer service. For us, we refuse to put that on our voice message machine. Mm-hmm. Someone's got to pick up the phone and we're going to have a conversation with you about it. Yeah. And if there is going to be delays on parts that are legitimate, we're going to have that conversation with you and say, "Hey, look at we're a few weeks out on this. Yeah. In the meantime, here's what we got." What I really appreciate out of our staff is like I have a beacon that's delivering today, actually, in a couple hours. Mm-hmm. And it had a backsplash that in transit came in. The backsplash came off and it broke, so it needed a new backsplash by the time it got here. The thing's on the ground and it fell off. It's an RV and in motion, things are rattling, and it happens. Mm-hmm. Rare, but something like a backsplash, rare that it happens, but it happened. Mm-hmm. So we ordered a new backsplash from our manufacturer, and it came in wrong. It was too long. Mm-hmm. And so instead of having to go, and it took weeks to get here.
Yeah. So
instead of going, okay, well, we're going to have to take another 3-4 weeks for this to get here and then put it in. Sorry, customer, you got to wait another month. Mm-hmm. Our guys was able to take the longer one and shorten it, like take the trim off, grind it down, put the trim back on. I'm telling you, Eric, you can't tell the difference. It looks absolutely factory.
That's amazing.
But it's just getting creative like that. And you if things are weeks and weeks out, and maybe in the past we used to just, order something.
Order and wait.
It's you gotta use what you got and get creative with it. So I appreciate our guys are doing a lot of that stuff.
I had no idea that's how they fix it. I've heard about that backsplash every morning, and I had no idea that's
that's
phenomenal.
Great.
Good on them. Another thing that's cool that we've done too is we have a phenomenal detail crew, and we've pivoted a little bit, and we've allowed one of our detail crew to be basically like full-time coronavirus. So it's going around.
Oh yeah.
A couple of our gals help out and switch off during the day, but it's like every single hour, every door handle's touched. We prop open doors. Those little things as a business are a big deal about keeping people safe and staying in business. I mean, if we had an outbreak,
very true.
That's a crippling thing on the company. So every little bit counts, and we've been really working hard to do that. So it's been cool to see how the company's switched, and I think the leadership team has a lot to take a lot of credit for that, because they really did a phenomenal job of helping the business pivot. And what's cool is being a smaller business, it's a little bit easier to do that. Some
true.
Companies with 50,000 employees to all of a sudden, boom, overnight have everybody be compliant to something that they've never done before. Mm-hmm. A little tough. We're 70 some employees now.
No, we're 60s.
Are we? Okay.
Yeah, we're in the 60s. So still a good size.
It's a good size, but fortunately it's just small enough where we can actually make one of those pivots a little easier.
Yeah.
But it was cool, and everybody, as long as everyone's on the same page, everyone buys into it, and that's it. We have a unique culture here that we're able to capitalize on and have a lot of fun together, and it's been really interesting. So
yeah, everyone's been very responsive to it.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people singing happy birthday in the bathrooms. Have you noticed that?
What?
It's 20 seconds. They say you're supposed to sing happy birthday while you're washing your hands.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, and
happy birthday.
At work we got, So anyway, happy birthday.
That's funny. I've got the little Apple Watch thing, so when I start washing my hands, it just puts a timer on.
No way.
Yeah, and then it dings when you're
serious?
Yeah, it's awesome. And then when you're done, it's like, oh, you're done washing your hands. It's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, also, you're in your target zone for working out.
Yeah. It doesn't. I don't think it counts as exercise, unfortunately.
For you, it might. I don't know. Slice.
Burned. Oh, ouch. That's good.
Okay.
I'm too busy selling RVs, Ryan. Can't work out.
That's right.
This body was built by the RV industry.
So it's interesting. What do you think? And next question that we kind of jotted down here in our preparation. What do you think the future of RVing looks like, Eric? You think there's going to be more people hopping into RVs down the road, or less?
That's a good question.
Before you say anything, let me show you the KOA statistics here. For like last year, it's up to 52% of households go, outside camping. So this is a combination of tent camping, it's in campers, in RVs, and all that. So the KOA statistics: 52% of families in 2018 and 19 were going out doing some kind of recreating, and the number's up since 2015. It's been up about 10%. So it's been going up like this over the years. Coronavirus
slowly
happens.
but surely.
Is it going to go up or down? What's your thoughts?
Well, here's I want to debunk something that I hear constantly, every single day. It's been pretty fascinating to me. Everyone says, oh man, with all the influx of new RV buyers, you're going to find a whole bunch of people that don't like it, and I'll bet next spring, summer, there's going to be a million coaches on the used market.
Yes.
Which, okay, there's always going to be some sell-off when you have massive demand, people buying coaches like they never have before. There will be people that realize, oh, maybe this isn't for me. But I got to say, I don't think that if anybody starts RVing, the majority don't get into it and realize they don't like it. So I suspect I've heard this as kind of an excuse. I'm going to wait for the best deal in next spring or summer when all these guys are selling their rigs because they don't like it.
I've heard that a lot as well.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't think it's going to happen. Because I mean, have you ever? It's kind of like, have you ever seen somebody sad on a jet ski? No. Have you ever seen somebody sad out camping with their family? No. Are you kidding me? I think people are going to love it. I think it's going to drive sales more. You have so many first-time buyers. I think there will be more used on the market next year, but I don't think everyone's going to get in it, hate it, and start selling the motorhomes. And that's what I think a lot of people have in their mind of, oh yeah, so many people are doing it. They don't know what they're getting into, and they don't. And it's going to be awesome when they do.
How many people, even who buy something like this, and a year later upgrade, they go, oh my God, this is so much fun. I love it. Let's get the 600 horsepower one. Let's do it. So people are always upgrading. So if you do see a bunch of the market next year, it's because people are first-time buyers. They hopped in it. They love this lifestyle.
Exactly.
Now they want to trade up their Class C for a Class A, their gas for a diesel, their 40-footer for a 45-footer.
Right.
Yeah.
So there will definitely be more used on the market, but it won't be like this mass like sell-off where people think it's going to be, oh my gosh, everybody's going to sell it. Nah, people are going to love it.
There's also just
it's going to be awesome.
More people in general every year. So
that's a good
that
point.
has to lead to, sorry, Bill Gates. There's just more and more people every year. So as a result, there's going to be more people retiring. Since people are starting a lot younger with kids in bunk beds and stuff like you mentioned, I think that the future looks really, really good.
Yeah.
Here's specifically related to COVID-19 on KOA's page. COVID-19 driving interest in camping. Okay, so reasons for considering camping among prospective campers. Here's what they got. They want to spend more time outdoors instead of staying inside. 46% of the people said that. They just in general want to get outside. That's why they're considering a camper or camping. It's an affordable way to travel.
Well, mostly affordable.
Yeah. It's easier to
As
practice.
we're sitting in a $500,000 corner.
Easier to practice social distancing. Look at us. Look at us 6 feet apart from each other.
We're way away.
To reconnect with family and friends. That's another big one.
Yep.
Feel safer while camping. I should probably give you the statistics. Yeah, reconnect with family and friends, 29%. Feeling safer while camping is 28%. To disconnect from their technology is 22%. I don't know about that one though, because these guys have Wi-Fi rangers.
I know, we're putting Wi-Fi in every coach that comes out.
Everything has Wi-Fi in it.
I think we're getting more connected. People just want to watch movies in the woods.
Yes, that's so true. I've almost lost deals before because there wasn't high definition satellite dishes, so you could go in the woods and watch your high definition.
Yeah,
shows.
Because you're outdoorsy. Yeah. You're outdoorsy. You gotta watch your Netflix out there.
So that's 22% of the people said that because they probably lied. They definitely. Everyone says that.
If you get a survey,
you know what, kids, we're putting the technology away. We're gonna go camping. We're just gonna get out and see nature. Oh my God, it's raining. Get your iPhone out because you are driving me nuts, kid. I brought you into this world. I'll take you out of it. Is that just my mom?
Probably. Okay. Does your mom sound like that?
I had a flashback.
I've met your mom.
She wasn't Southern, but
she does
in my
not have
head,
a Southern accent.
she's Southern. So
Quite the memory. My favorite is the outdoor TVs. 'Cause you can,
yes,
you can watch TV literally.
yeah,
in nature.
literally while you're outside.
It's outdoorsy. It's being outdoorsy for the non-outdoorsy.
I love it.
It's beautiful. I like the safety one though.
Being outdoorsy for the new, yeah.
So my wife and I just got a little 2-person tent for like a little backpacking tent. Like, it's gonna be great,
Adorable.
for hunting season and everything. That's something we're into. And we spent our first night in it. And here's the deal. I grew up camping. I grew up around RVs. Grew up tent camping. Everything. And there's no doubt when you're sitting in a queen bed and you have climate control and it's all comfortable, you get a way better night's sleep than when you feel like a little bear burrito.
Absolutely.
When you're wrapped up in your tent that's about 2.5 feet wide in the middle of nowhere.
I know exactly.
I sleep a little better.
You notice
if I'm on an
like
RV.
The people look so tall in the photos of the tent
tough.
when you buy it, and then when you get into it, like my wife, she's 5'10", I'm 5'12", and my feet in the little tent that we bought for camping, my feet touch one end of the tent, and my face is against the other end of it.
Yeah.
I go, this is not gonna work. As opposed to going to Palm Springs and staying in this for 2 months, you go.
Yeah, a little different style.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place for everything. I will never sell my little tent, but I will say when we went RV camping for elk season, holy smokes! When you're waking up at 4:30 a.m., it comes around a little quicker. When you have a good night's sleep and you feel a lot better when you wake up. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. I did both this season, and I was so much more effective.
Yeah.
Sleeping in an RV.
Effective hunting?
Well, I mean hiking.
Well,
with a bow.
Over-prepared hiking.
Very prepared hiking.
There you go.
I didn't see anything.
You didn't see any deer?
No, I saw 19 deer. I didn't see a single elk.
Elks.
It's neither of those. It's just elk.
God,
that's the plural of elk is elk. Nah.
Well, anyway. Well, good. I'm glad you got to do both. I'm glad you got to do both.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to hear that statistic on the KOA, how it's safety. That's a true thing, though. Think about Banff, Canada.
Oh,
There's like bajillion grizzly bears.
Yellowstone, there's some parts they don't let you come in unless you have a hard-sided camper. No soft-sided, what are those, little pop-up trailers?
Really?
They have to have a hard side on it.
Because they're eaten by a bear?
Yeah, they're like, well, what I want to know is what was the number of people who got eaten by a bear for them to
be like, hey, by the way.
Hey, you know what?
Need a little more than...
should stop. We should stop putting soft like campers in there because too many bears are ripping into it. And if you think about it, for bears, when you're just in your little sleeping bag, it's like a little human burrito.
Yeah.
Nice little snack for those guys. So yeah. Anyway, that's a really good point. It is a big safety. And also, what is it about when you're outside in a tent and it's just dead quiet, and then all of a sudden you hear it sounds like you're in the middle of. I mean, there's animals making all kinds of noises, twigs breaking and stuff.
You hear everything
all night long.
It's the worst.
But you're inside one of these, and
I know it.
I'd say
We've been spoiled. That's the problem. We've been way too spoiled. I'm not connected with nature anymore.
I think they're starting to catch on to that too.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Last thing I think that transitioning, and you touched on it at the very beginning of this podcast, is the other options that you have out there are not great options with COVID-19 from the standpoint. Flying, it's a crapshoot. You have to wear your mask the entire time. I mean, the airlines are really trying to do their best. They're hurting right now. Do you have a statistic on it?
Oh man, I've got so many statistics. It's ridiculous.
So
this will be the statistic corner of our podcast.
So the airline industry is really hurting right now.
Yes.
People don't want to go on cruises. They don't want to stay in hotel rooms.
Yep.
People are just being really, really careful with this. So other industries are really hurting. So as a result, by process of elimination, what do you have left for traveling? Because people aren't going to go, well, I guess we're just not going to travel at all or go on vacation.
People are still going to travel.
People still want to do that, but now they're looking for better options, and it seems like everyone's gravitating towards RVs. What do you got?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of research into this. So my wife, for the listeners here, was in the hospitality industry, or was until yesterday. And this is actually a pretty good statistic here. So I was interested in how the hotel industry or the hospitality industry has been affected. And the leisure and hospitality industry accounted for 11% of pre-pandemic employment. So 11% of jobs were in that sector.
Wow.
But that sector also makes up 36% of the nation's job losses. So an overwhelming amount of the job losses have been in that sector. For instance, when this all started, Hyatt, which is my wife's company that she worked for, was owned by Hyatt, had to lay off 1,300 employees globally, which is no small number of people. That's 1,300 people plus their families. That's a big deal. And so that has been really fascinating. And then I pulled this up too for this week in 2020. The number of scheduled flights worldwide was down 46.3%, almost half when compared to the same week in 2019.
This week, in October.
In October of 2019.
Wow.
It was 46% more flights were booked.
I wonder what Thanksgiving and Christmas is going to look like this year.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I've talked with people that have flown, and it sounds like they're pretty strict on all the guidelines and rules and everything. And our buddy's going to Jamaica here soon.
Oh yeah.
And it turns out you have to have scheduled and you have to have all your testing done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty crazy to see how they're being affected by it. So my wife lost her job in this industry, so it's been crazy to see. I'm very, very connected to the transition from hotel and flight travel, which is that's the norm. A lot of people did that for their job, but that's been the majority. The bulk of the travel industry is flying to a new place. It's a relatively inexpensive way to see somebody or something, states away, right? And now I think that with the combination of, like we talked about, work from home and just the style of travel that you need to do, this is going to be a huge shift in the other direction. Another statistic for hotel bookings specifically. So according to the American Hotel and Lodging Association, hotel bookings for next week are down 65% from what they were in 2019. Now, this is Labor Day. So back this up. This is a Labor Day statistic. So when we had Labor Day, we went out camping for Labor Day. Remember that?
That's right.
And you know what was funny? We went to Sean's super secret spot.
Oh my gosh.
Sean,
our service manager has a super secret spot for the last 30 years. Nobody
knows about it. It's the best spot. It's a phenomenal spot. You're not gonna see anybody out there. We go out there in 2 RVs, ready to rock and roll Thursday night, and we get out there, and I swear every spot had like 5 RVs in it.
That's right.
It was ridiculous.
That was funny.
Back down a dirt road.
And we
were
got
cracking up
the day before early.
Oh man, it was so funny. We went back to Sean. I think somebody told your secret spot. Yeah. Everybody knows.
Everyone knows that.
So, but yeah, that was Labor Day weekend. And so what we saw physically were way more people were out camping in RVs and in campgrounds than they were in hotels. I mean, that was in the thick of it too. And I don't think that's going to change. I think that was a very good indicator of where this market's going. All those people are still RVing. All those people are still traveling in this capacity. So I think it'll be interesting, to see how that goes moving forward, especially like you mentioned, holidays. Are people going to be traveling by RV more?
You notice how big the new ovens? It's obviously like just coincidental. They weren't planning for a pandemic. See how big the new ovens are? And these you can literally do a Thanksgiving dinner.
Do a whole turkey in these
new ovens.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yep.
But I was thinking about our business too with factory orders. I can't believe how many people are like, yep, I'm just gonna, I know it's hard to get product right now. You don't have exactly what I want. I'm just gonna put an order in and wait 3, 4, 5, 7, 12 months for it to get here. Right now, our store, we have over 30 factory orders in right now that are undelivered.
Wow.
So those are scheduled that are undelivered. So the manufacturers are still building them right now. Yeah. And I got offline dates of October, September that hasn't showed up yet. November. What's probably going to happen is all these September, October ones are going to land in November, and it's going to be a huge, big push before the end of the year.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's interesting to see how the industry has reacted to it, how the buyers have reacted to it. From both ends of it. There's the young people with kids who are getting the bunk bed models and the shorter units. There's the people who are working from home who are getting units with Wi-Fi in it. There's the people still retiring who are getting into it in this part of their dream and vacation and travel the country and all that.
Totally.
So the supply and demand is very unique right now, and then we got the manufacturers just scrambling to get with their suppliers in order to get the product out to people so they can get out and do these things. So it's interesting. Then as from a dealership standpoint, it's amazing how many dealerships are out, or how they're responding to this as well. There's been dealerships that are still out of business that haven't reopened their stores yet. There's dealerships like us who are having a great year and selling a tremendous amount of inventory. It's all across the board here, so it's very, very unique to see how people responded to this. But you know what's interesting? A couple months after 9/11 hit, the market bounced back to where it was on September 10th.
Right.
And it's the same thing when the coronavirus first hit. It took a couple months. The market tanked. It took a couple months for it to get back, and now we're at 28,000 points. Yeah. So if it tells you anything about human nature, we react very quickly. Shout out to toilet paper sales.
that was pretty funny.
Another division of our store is Value RV. Shout out to Value RV. It's an online RV parts store. And he did about $80,000 in 1 month top line sales just in toilet paper. So anyway, it tells you we as people, we are pretty reactionary to things.
Yeah.
But also we like to protect our way of life from the standpoint we get out of whack. But now we just put face masks on.
Yeah,
now we just call in our food and we go pick it up.
Yeah.
Now we order the things online. We got to wait a little bit, but it shows up at our house. Now you order groceries and stuff online. Someone drops it off at your door. If it tells you anything about who we are as people, it's we still want to go out and play and have fun. We still want to maintain our way of life, and we will. It's just we have to make some adjustments along the way. But pretty cool.
Pretty wild. So another statistic I'm going to throw at you real quick.
Love it.
So we were talking about first-time buyers. This year, 50 to 80% of RV buyers are first-time buyers.
50 to 80?
50 to 80%. Now, last year,
smokes, yeah.
Last year, at the same time frame, it was 25 to 30%. So that shows you the reaction. People want to travel. They want to get out there. They want to see the world and see their families and travel and get out of the house. And that is a prime example of people doing that exact thing. So, okay, we got to do something. We're not going to jump on a plane. I don't feel comfortable taking our whole family on a plane.
That's amazing.
Let's jump in an RV and go. That's pretty cool.
That is up quite a bit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. We love that. I mean, we love the industry, so sharing it with other people, especially a bunch of people who haven't been in it before, is so much fun. So, yeah, it's been pretty cool. I think I definitely don't hope for COVID-20.
No.
That would be awful. But man, it's been a wild ride to figure out how to navigate this thing and
Agreed.
And see how it's affected our industry. But
well, with that said, why don't we close out here by talking about a couple of the new lines that we're carrying at Beaver Cook shows.
Definitely.
And kind of how we reacted to the business.
Yep. So one of our big ones is the Forest River product. So in order to better serve those 50 to 80% of new first-time RVers, we're bringing on that whole trailer lineup, which is new to us. We don't generally carry a lot of trailers. We generally stick to mostly motorized, but bringing on trailers has really been fun to capture a customer earlier in their buyer funnel. So we can now give them the same service we give somebody buying one of these, and they get to have that same support and backing of a good dealership behind them when they buy their first rig. And so the cool thing is we have inexpensive trailers you can start out with for a small, a young family and work your way up. And so it's a Forest River sailing products. They've been phenomenal, really great rigs. And then what else have we brought on?
We got the Thor Omni, which is really cool. I'm jacked about the Thor Omni. So 4-wheel drive, F550 chassis. It's got that 6.7 liter diesel engine in it, that power stroke, and it's a 10-speed transmission. It's kind of weird watching your gears jump from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 when you're driving it, but it's neat. That one has some floor plans with bunk beds, floor plans with 2 bathrooms, little 32 to 35 foot units.
4-wheel drive.
I know, 4-wheel drive, which is incredible.
It's huge.
So anyway, those are my favorite right now.
Yeah, definitely.
That we picked up.
Those have been pretty cool. And then others coming, hopefully. As we keep going. So
yeah, I just put in a bunch of orders for different towable lines and with some more Thor product, more Tiffin, Integra.
Yeah.
The new floor plan that just came out on the Odyssey for Integra, came out 2 days ago, is sick. So really excited about that one. It's got the bathroom in the back, Murphy bed drop down. So that one's going to be cool. So you'll see stuff like that on our website. But
Totally.
if you want to continue to see what's going on in the world at Beaver Coach Sales, follow us on Instagram. Go to our YouTube channel. Go to our website. We have all kinds of amazing stuff happening and going on. Yesterday was our Smart Dollar class. We did a class on personal finances for employees to help employees get out of debt and stay out of debt, so they can just crank it out here at work, and the money that they generate here goes towards their family and their future instead of paying it out in credit card bills and things like that. So
Totally.
had that going on. And then we got this podcast happening. We have some awesome stuff happening here at Beaver Coach Sales. So
It's been awesome.
yeah, follow all of our social medias, and you'll see more of that fun stuff.
Listen to the podcast. Yeah, we gotta dethrone Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe, we're
He's
getting
had a good run. He's had a
We're
good
getting
run.
it. This is our second, third, fourth. Yeah,
We'll get there.
we'll get there, Joe.
Number one, baby.
Coming
Number
for
one.
you, Joe.
Looking for that Spotify deal.
Sounds good.
All right.
Well,
Hey,
we're Ryan and Eric.
it's been fun.
And we'll see you down the road.